Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem El Shai, Ba'ashem El Rakak Kudash, double honors unto the elder apostles of great millstone all well, and shalom to the whole full elect. This is Paya Allah, um, and I want to grab a few scriptures dealing with enduring, alright? The word endure, alright, means to make hard. And one example I like to always bring up is that of galvanized iron, otherwise known as GIs, alright? Which GIs, as are known in the U.S. military, alright? One of the meanings of it is galvanized iron. Now, what galvanized iron is it's a treatment, galvanization of iron, alright? A treatment that iron goes through to make it, to basically, I believe the right term would be weather it. So it's resistance against weathering, alright? So it's resistant against weathering. So if you have a lamppost, always go by what's out here. You may, I don't know, wherever you're at in the world, but basically the lamppost we go over here in the UK, in London, is, naked iron, iron. But you if you look at the texture of the iron, it looks, you can see the galvanization of it, and you can just Google galvanization and you'll see what I mean. And that's, I remember that because I used to climb, when you're a kid, you climb that shit, trying to climb to the top. So it has this particular texture, alright, particular look. And it's a good analogy because why? We're here to what? Bring light, alright, to show our light before men, alright. A candle doesn't get put on a bushel, but it gets put on a candlestick, on a table, to bring light to the whole house, right? So that's what we're here to do. We're here to bring the light of Yahweh Shai onto the world, being lampposts, all right? We're lighting up the streets, okay? And we're out there in season, out of season, and we're going through a galvanization, all right? We're basically building up a resilience through being out on the highways and byways to basically bring forth the light, all right? So we're basically being built to what? Endure, all right? But the way that happens is by us going through trials and tribulations that it tells you in the book of Sirach, the 2nd chapter, all right? How we're to be of good cheer when we're brought to a lower state, all right? We're like one of my favorite TV shows. Some brothers are familiar with it. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. All right, you have the sayings. Even you have the same thing with Invincible as well. All right, where the escapes my name. The name of them begins with a V. But the sayings in Dragon Ball Z, anytime they take a loss, they come back stronger. All right, so Veteranites or something like that in Invincible, it's the same thing. Anytime they take a loss, they come back stronger. So this is the same thing with us. The more we go through, the more resilience we build, and the stronger we get. All right. So, with that being said, let me read the scriptures. Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. I'll read it again. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right. So this isn't a matter of you just turn up today, you do one day, and you can sit down and your work's gonna follow you. No, that's not how it works. All right. How it works is you come into this faith, and you've been gifted with the gift of faith. All right. But faith without works is what is dead. All right. So you putting your hand to the plow, you're not allowed to turn back. You have to be found doing the work, all right? Just as Paul, our forefather Paul, the great brother Paul, he showed many works, All right. And basically, when he was ready to go to back to the spiritual realm, what he said, he basically said, "I have a crown laid up for me," because what he endured unto the end. All right. The only way you're enduring unto the end, either you're gonna die for the very last time upon this earth, the last time you're gonna taste death ever, or you've been born for the last time ever, man. All right. So that's how we're gonna endure unto the end. But remember, it says the righteous shall scarcely be saved. All right. So with that being said, I want to go to this example of Paul, because this shows Paul was doing some great acts, man. All right. Acts 14:7, and there they preached the gospel, and there sat a certain man at Lystra, impotent in his feet, being a cripple from his mother's womb, who never who who never had walked. The same heard Paul speak, who steadfastly beholding him, and perceiving that he had faith to be healed. All right. So he hearkened unto the words of Paul. All right. My sheep hear my voice. All right. So with that being said, all right, said verse 10 said, with a loud voice, stand upright on thy feet, and he leaped and walked. All right. My sheep hear hear my word. The book of Romans, the 11th chapter, it tells you about the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, that the table um, the table turned into a snare, basically. To basically the words that would have, Salakia, man. I'm trying too hard, man. The um the words that would have converted them and healed them, basically, if they would have heard the word, they would have been converted and healed. All right, but they didn't. So this is a case of a man hearing the word and being healed. All right. So reading on, it says, verse 11, and when the people saw that Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying, in speech of Lycaonia, the gods are come down to us in a likeness of men. So here it is, you have Paul speaking his word with great power and doing a great work of the Heavenly Father. All right, Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai Ba'Shem Al Rakal Kodash, healing a man of impotency in the feet. And you would have thought the work was done. The honor is going to be praised in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai Ba'Shem Al Rakal Kodash, which Paul was showing forth at that time. But guess what? That weren't the case. All right, they gave it unto the, as we're going to read on verse 12, and they called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercurius, because he was the chief speaker. All right, and when you look into Mercury, he's basically the Greek god of basically communication. All right, he has the wings on his feet, the messenger. Okay, and that's what they likened Paul onto, because he was speaking. All right. But the point is that the glory of the Heavenly Father was taken away. So, hey, imagine he's enduring, being instant in season and out season, teaching the word, and basically a great work's done. You know, you could think that he had a moment of rest, but no, all right. He had to. It required a lot more work, all right, a further preaching of what power did this great work. Verse 13, then the priests of Jupiter, which was before their city, brought oxen and garlands onto the gates. All right, so they brought a sacrifice, and the garland basically is like a wreath, all right, like a victory, all right, that you'd place around someone's neck. So brought oxen and garlands onto the gates, and would have done sacrifice with the people. Verse 14, which when the apostles Barnabas and Paul heard of, they rent their clothes and ran in among the people, crying out. So here it is, a righteous act that was done was being turned into an occasion for wickedness. All right. Verse 15, and saying, Sirs, why do ye these things? We also are men of like passions with you, and preach unto you that ye should turn from these vanities unto the living power. Alright, which Paul broke down in the book of Romans, the first chapter. Alright, you know, really these men have offered up to what? Vile affections. Alright? Turning the glory of the Heavenly Father into, you know, a man, beast, etc., etc. Alright? But how they managed to take what Paul had done in this work for that of wickedness, it shows you that these people are totally lost, man. And these are the things that we have to endure. Alright? We have to bring forth this word, whether they were here or for a bear. And this is what we got to teach. We got to suffer it until we've run our race. Alright? Until the time of salvation come upon us. Wherever your lot is, you have to go through it and you got to work your talent until the time of the end. Alright? So it says, which made heaven, earth, and the sea, and all things that are therein, who in times past suffered all nations to walk in their own ways. Nevertheless, he left not himself without witness, and that he did good and gave us rain from heaven. Man, this is a fucked up Salakia, man. Man, she getting angry because I know what's going to happen next. Gave us heaven from, and as you brothers know, you know, I'm singing to the choir, you know, I'm just getting angry thinking about it. And gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. And with these sayings, scarce restrained they the people that they had not done sacrifice unto them. Alright? So they still wanted to make a sacrifice, accounting them for what? Mercury and Saturn. Alright? And turn the beauty of the Heavenly Father into wickedness. Alright? Righteousness of the Heavenly Father into an occasion for wickedness, basically. Alright? Verse 19. And there came certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium who persuaded the people, having stoned Paul, man. It's fucking wild, man. They just fucking regarded him in high esteem, man. They called him Mercury, man. They said that he was a speaker of the gods and healed the man. But then they got riled up by some wicked Jews to basically do what? Get stoned to death, man. They killed Paul. This is the type of things we have to endure, man. Hate to kind of bring it to the dark, you know, but it just shows you, man, he went from 0 to 100 real quick, man. Alright? Doing the great works of the Heavenly Father to the same people that regarded it a great thing, took it upon themselves to make it a wicked thing, and then ultimately killed the same man they regarded in high esteem. Alright? So I'll read verse 19 again. And there came thither certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he had been dead. Verse 20, howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up and came into the city, and the next day he departed with Barnabas to Derbe. Alright, so the Lord, man, he died, but he came back to life. Alright, but this is the type of things making hard, man, enduring. Verse 21, and if you go to 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, alright, it'll basically go, 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, you know, you see how that him enduring this gave him some great wisdom, some great jewels, man. Verse 21, and when they had preached the gospel to the city and had taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch. Alright, all places. Lystra is where he was what? Stoned. Iconium and Antioch was the same place where them Jews came from that stirred up the people. So the Heavenly Father, what he endured, right, not taking his hand off the plow, even though he suffered much violence at the hands of people, alright, these wicked demons out here, alright. But basically, the Heavenly Father propped him up, showed him forth as a sign in those same places where they did him wickedness and showed that the man lived, showing the great power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the monument, Zion, right, to Zion, which means monument, right? A monument is what? A memorial on, and what is a memorial unto? A memorial unto the Heavenly Father, the visible showing of the invisible power upon the earth, all right? And in this act, he showed Paul to be great, all right? Verse 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. And that shows you how much force those words have, him having endured all of that. So let me finish on this. I was right the first time. So this is 2 Timothy 2 and 3. And therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua and Mashiach. We're soldiers, man. Alright? The Heavenly Father in the book of Exodus 15 and 3, it tells you what? The Most High, Yahweh, is a God of war. The Most High is a God of war. Let me read it, man. I'll keep butchering it. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Alright? The Lord Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Alright? So that's what the Lord is, a man of war. So we, being the sons of the Heavenly Father, alright, we in turn, what would we be? Warriors, alright? Being soldiers, alright, of the Lord of hosts, alright? We form, foot soldiers within the army of the Heavenly Father, the kings and priests of the nation, alright? Which are soldiers for the Heavenly Father. So it says, 2 Timothy 2 and 3, thou therefore endure hardness, alright, as a good soldier of Yahushua and Mashiach. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, alright? So it says, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, alright? So this is where it is. We're at war right now, alright? And we're not to entangle ourselves with the affairs of this life. Good movie clip is that of Dead Presidents, where you have Chris Tucker's character showing a picture of his old lady and saying, man, I can't wait to get back. And Lorenz saying, yo, fuck that shit. I'm out here at war and I gotta think about surviving so I can get back to my lady. Alright? And that's where it is. Alright? We're to be pilgrims upon the earth. And we got work to do. We got work to do. Alright? Our forefathers we're even closer to the kingdom than our forefathers were. They started, they basically put the first steps in the sand towards the kingdom. Alright? And the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter, and the 12th verse on down, it basically speaks about our forefathers, basically doing what? Saying that they, seek a kingdom to come. And if they were mindful of the place where they left, they would have gone back. But them being convinced, I forget the word verbatim, of the blessings to come, basically moved forward to the kingdom, man. They didn't think about going back. And we're even closer. We are continuing this work. So we are not thinking of the world. If you're thinking of the world, what? Then, man, you're going to die with this world. The fashion of the world passeth away. So 2 Timothy 2 and 4, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. All right? And if a man also strive for the masteries, yet is not crowned except he strive lawfully. So we got to strive for the mastery, and it has to be done lawfully. All right. So with that, I pray you're edified to the next one. Say shalom. Shalom.